2020 Cooper River Bridge Run has been canceled, but race officials are eagerly awaiting the 2021 race. I sat down one-on-one with race director Irv Batten for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Irv Batten, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
It's a pleasure, Quintin. Good to see you again.
Likewise. Obviously, you are the current race director for the Cooper River Bridge Run.
Yes.
What mile are you on as far as being a race director for this race?
What mile? What you mean by that? What mile? What do you mean by that?
Where are you with this right now?
Oh, man. We're very optimistic about 2021.
Okay.
We're still working on giving product swag out to individuals that donated their entry or did the virtual run or deferred to 2021. We've given all that out. We're giving that out. A couple weeks ago, we actually had a drive-through packet pickup at the Coliseum, and we had 6,000 people come by.
Wow.
To pick up stuff.
Oh my.
We had individuals come from Charlotte, Savannah, Greenville. It was pretty awesome, and they were so happy, and it was such a positive 2 days. It was hot,
right,
but it was so positive, and just hearing them and how happy they were to get their stuff and that they're coming back.
Yeah.
They'll be there in 2021. Hopefully we could have that event. That's the goal.
Yeah.
We'll see how things go from there, though.
And I know, obviously, you talk about July 31st and August 1st when, obviously, you all gave out the swag there. How many more people still need to pick up their packets?
We've got probably about 5,000 out of the 38,000 people, whatever.
Yeah.
About 5,000 people that still need to get some stuff or to make a decision. They haven't decided yet.
And how many more packets do you all actually have to mail out?
We're almost done mailing out all those packets. So out of that 5,000, it just depends. We've asked them to contact us and see if they want to come by and pick it up, or if they want to have it mailed.
And obviously, let me take you back to August 1st. The race was scheduled to take place at 8 a.m., but obviously COVID stalled that.
7 a.m.
7. That's right. That's right.
It was going to be an hour earlier, cooler. It was actually going to be a very
there's a bug on you.
Very fun event, I think.
Yeah.
I was going to have a fire truck with missing water and stuff,
and
on the bridge, on both ends of the bridge, and I think it would have been a very fun event. Of course it was going to be warmer, but that's just the nature of the game. I mean, any race in June, July, August, which there are almost every weekend usually, it's just warm, and you just have to be prepared, be hydrated, hydrate early, and then have hydration on the course, and that's what we were going to do. So I think it would have been a really fun event. Would have had any record times? No, but that's what August events are. No record times usually. You just enjoy being there and enjoying the event.
Yes.
So
I know that you wanted to bring out the fire trucks and you were going to have the Mr. stations and whatnot, and of course we've all seen the comments on Facebook. I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
They put it on your page, they put it on the Cooper River Bridges page, they put it on the media's page. What stopped you from moving forward with your plan?
Well, the city decided, because of the cities, the 3 municipalities, because of the condition of the COVID pandemic, and they recommended, and they said that they would really prefer, and we agreed, safety first. So let's just not do that. Let's think of the safety aspect of the whole situation, and let's just back off and let's prepare for next year, and hoping that everything is back to normal or close to it.
How did you plan for this race as a runner, and how did you plan this race as an executive director? Going back from last year to up until it had to be canceled in April. Well, pushed back.
As a runner, I mean, I just focus on me and I know my body.
Yeah.
And train and be prepared for it and hopefully be in the best shape I can, because as a runner back when I ran this event, this was the race. You know, the first local, you were basically the king and queen of Charleston.
Yeah.
Or actually of South Carolina.
Yes.
And so this was the event to be prepared. That and, you know, the Turkey Day race
Right.
for 5K. And so, but as a race director, oh my gosh, as a runner, you were focused on yourself and training. As a race director, that focus is it's from, do we have enough volunteers? Do we have enough water? Is the course set up right? You know, is the fencing right? And so on. Security.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many different things to think about. It's just from A to Z.
A to Z. You talk about those volunteers. Prior to the race getting canceled for the August 1st race, did you have any volunteers that said, hey, I'm not going to do this again? Or did you have some volunteers that said, we're going to stick it out?
Most of the volunteers, just like the sponsors, I mean, they're so important. The volunteers, the sponsors, the security team, the medical team, they were all ready to go. And, you know, there are some volunteers that are like, oh, you know, I've got health issues. And we recommend you don't put yourself in a bad position. So, you know, a lot of the volunteers at the expo were very, you know, ready to go. Just like, you know, you brought up comments about the August date. If you would have seen all the emails we got, you know, the vast majority of the emails were positive and wanting us to have the event. There were small fraction that were the very, you know, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And those are the ones you remember. You remember the bad ones, or the ones that are, you know, disappointed or upset. Those are the ones you remember. And just like I was saying about the packet pickup.
Right.
So many positive.
Okay.
Thank you for doing this. Thank you. And that's what I told the staff. Remember, there are a lot more positive thanking us and wanting us to do this than the negative. We dwell and we focus on the negative. We need to focus on the positive.
What was your focus leading up to, obviously, the April race? Because like I just mentioned, you just got all of these comments. People like, stick a fork in it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
All those types of comments. And, what was your thought process then?
Back then, we were hoping we would be able to do it, and then it just really snowballed really quickly, and the positive cases were going skyrocketing. We're like, oh, this is not a good idea. So let's, you know, step back a little bit, and, you know, that's when we thought, well, you know, what's the best date that we could do? Oh, we would love to do it in the fall, but there's other races.
Yeah.
And at that time, you know, the thought was, after a month or two, everything was going to be okay. And that didn't happen.
No.
So what do? You just got to rely on the expert medical people, listen to what they're all saying, listen to the government and the city officials, and come together with all the information you can gather and make the best decision possible.
You talk about that decision. Did you all, let me ask this, Irv. Why didn't you all just go with a virtual run in the beginning?
Well, so many people wanted to run the event. The sponsors still wanted to.
Okay.
A lot of people didn't realize, or don't realize, that the shirts, the medals,
Right.
the race bag, the keychain that we're giving out, the head buff, similar to this with the art logo and stuff, all that stuff was already purchased and delivered. It was sitting in the warehouse ready to give out because they decided we were basically the situation about 10 days before the event to postpone. So it wasn't like, hey, cancel all those orders. Those orders were already delivered. So we had all that stuff. We had 40,000 t-shirts, 40,000 all sitting there like, well, we've already paid for all this stuff. And like I said earlier, hopefully the whole outlook was in a few months this is all going to be, it's going to die down. It was everybody, did the social distancing. Everybody was at home. Everything's going to die down. Well, that didn't happen. All of a sudden it came back stronger. More cases. And so at the time, the best scenario was we did a virtual for those that didn't want to come, but we were going to do the August date also. The vast majority of them still wanted to do the August date. Out of that 30,000+ individuals, they wanted to come. So we reorganized, started setting up for the August 1st date, and then after that spike came and stuff, we're like, you know what, this is just not, let's just be smart, let's be safe, and let's just shut everything down. We'll promote the virtual version that we started and try to get more people to do that. And the bridge run in 40+ years had never been canceled, but they've never had a deferral program.
Right.
And so we offered the deferral to next year, and if you weren't really excited about next year, you could defer to 2022. And what we'll do is going forward, we'll probably have that deferral program every year. So if something happens, say someone's getting married or someone got sick or hurt, they could just defer to the next year.
You talk about all of those packets and t-shirts you all had in the warehouse. How much did you all pay for all of that?
A lot. A lot. Now I'm a very I don't like to spend money, and that's just me.
Right.
All my life. It's like I look for a good deal.
Sure.
And so that's what I did with all this swag. Is I've hunted, and we actually had very, very good deals on all that.
Wow.
And so hopefully I can keep on going forward and keep on doing that. But we've got a nice sponsor, Gildan, who donates some of the shirts, and they give us a great deal on the other shirts that we have to purchase. We have another sponsor in Vapor Apparel that prints them and helps us with that. But actually, one of the programs we were going to start this year, we have a Go Green initiative, and with Vapor Apparel and Reprieve, which is another company out of North Carolina, we were going to start a water bottle recycling, and we were going to collect them at the expo at the start, at the finish, take them to this recycling center in Monk's Corner where they would clean them, and then Vapor and Reprieve would come down and pick them up, take them to North Carolina, turn them into thread, and make shirts and items out of it. This right here that I'm wearing right now is made, a little buff, little gator.
Yeah.
It's made out of 2 water bottles, recycled into material.
Wow.
And we have some shirts in our store, one long sleeve that's made out of 16 water bottles. So, that was something we were launching this past year, and we will save that and launch it next year. But I think it's going to be a good program. I've talked to the River Dogs about it. I've talked to Charleston County Parks about it, and they're like, whoa, let's get involved. And my idea was that we start with the bridge run and then we expand. to the Coliseum,
Right.
to other large areas. And I think that would be cool. Hey, maybe one day that the actual Bridge Run shirt is a shirt made out of water bottles. That would be really cool.
Cool.
So that was one of the ideas, one of the items we were going to launch this year. So.
And what's the total price for all of this stuff? I mean, when you think of the T-shirts and the bag, we never know, of course,
Yeah.
but what's the price?
Well, I mean, when you sign up, we started at $40, I
Yeah.
think. We do give discounts every, to large groups and stuff. And as the year goes on, closer to the race, it goes up,
Right.
goes up. And I believe at the week of the race, it's about 60.
Yeah.
Well, if you would have to purchase all the stuff that they got in their packet, that's more than $60 worth. Now, did I pay that? No, because we do have some great sponsors that help out. Harris Teeter,
Yeah.
Benefit Focus.
Yes.
That helps out with, bringing the cost down of all the items we give. And then, like I said, I made a really good deal with the different companies trying, well, can you do this instead of, $1 or something, can you do it for 85 cents?
Okay.
What? and it's just, hey, I'll get 40,000 of them.
Sure.
They're like 40,000. I said, there you go. Let's make it. The more you order, the cheaper it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
See, and you talk about that reorganization, obviously from late April up until, unfortunately, it was canceled for this year. Was there ever any, I hate to ask this question, any testing requirements for the runners and walkers in the plan?
In the plan, well, depending on how things developed, and really going forward, that's something that we're working on. Is like for next year, what do we do? What's it going to be like? Well, that's why we have this really, really good medical team and all the medical experts. We got MUSC here.
Yes.
I mean, come on, they're like the top.
Yes.
We got Roper here, they're top. I mean, so we've got really good medical people, and we're going to listen to them. And we're also looking at how other large races or events, how they do it, and I mean, you don't have to reinvent anything. We just listen and follow, and hey, what's the safest way to do it? Next year we're going to have less people, maybe. We have to spread them out, maybe. We'll have to make plans for that. And it just depends on, just like in April, we didn't know what August was going to be like. We don't know what March is going to be like today. It's so early.
Yeah.
We just have to see how things develop. Is a vaccine going to be developed? Is it going to be a lot safer? Hopefully.
Let me ask this too. Since April, how many out-of-town participants applied for the race?
Whoa. Since April?
Yes, sir.
That's a good one. I'd have to go check and see our numbers. It's about 50-50.
Okay.
If you look at the total numbers, about 50% are from the state, in state,
Right.
and the other is out of state. I mean, it does fluctuate a little bit depending on each year and all. We have very good attendance from Georgia, Virginia, North Carolina. One thing that's helped out that we implemented is that we partnered with Fleet Feet.
Yeah.
And in the past, we've had our own training clinic. And we've had one in downtown in Mount Pleasant. We tried to do one in the north area.
Sure.
And then a year or so ago, I talked to the owner of Fleet Feet and say, would you lead this for us? And we'll make a good partnership. And then I thought, you know what, why don't we do it? Why do we just have to do it in Charleston? There's people from all over the place. Why don't we do Fleet Feets abroad?
Sure.
And we had 20 different Fleet Feets at training clinics. coming up to this year. I mean, far away is Albany, New York,
Yeah.
and Ohio,
Yes.
and Mississippi,
Sure.
Florida.
Right.
I'm like, well, if we can do that and hopefully expand every year and larger number, and that's all it's going to do is bring people in from all over. We have someone from every state participate in the bridge run for I don't know how many years, and from about 8 different countries.
Right.
So, well, let's just focus on bringing more from these other states in. And that's where we partner with Fleet Feet this year and last year. And hopefully it just keeps on going on, where we expand our training clinic across, further across the United States, not just in the eastern United States.
And you talk about obviously those participants from obviously overseas. Were you all concerned about any of those particular people potentially having the coronavirus?
Well, with the way travel was, really checked, we weren't probably going to have anybody from overseas in 2020 because of, unless they were already here.
Right.
And now a lot of people don't realize this either, but the Ethiopians and Kenyans that come to our race,
Yeah.
the vast majority of them actually live here for 3 or 4 or 5 months. And they have like little training pods in different places, and they train and they live here and they go to X amount of races and they go back home. So a lot of them that were here would be coming to the race were already here. They weren't flying in.
Right.
So and the same thing with the Americans. So, we have some elite Americans from New Mexico
Right.
and Arizona and Colorado coming in. So
Yeah, I understand. And what were the number of applicants who signed up prior to the April postponement of the race?
before we had about 30,000 people before we had to shut down.
Oh, wow.
And with that, like I said, it was about 2 weeks before the race. That 2 weeks, we usually have a lot of people sign up.
Yes.
And especially the 2-day expo.
Yes.
A lot of people sign up. They just wait and they sign up at the expo. So we were anticipating between 35 and 38,000 people signed up. And you know that when you go to a race, out of the people that sign up, there's a percent that don't show up. So, and usually it's about 8 to 10% given whatever. So there could have, if we had 35,000 people signed up, that's not how many people were going to finish. Several people, like I said, 8 to 10% don't even. Either they don't show up, or they start and they decide, well, you know what, I'm cutting off here or something. That happens. That happens in every race. People just go about halfway or something. They're like, you know what, not today. So, it's not a good habit to start.
No.
You want to finish.
Yeah, you got to.
That's what you tell them when you're coaching and when you're just, if you're going to start, go ahead and finish.
Yeah.
So,
no matter how painful it is.
Exactly. Not your day all the time.
Right.
So.
And you talk about that percentage. What was that percentage closer to May?
Percentage of?
People obviously signing up for the race.
I'd have to look back. It changes so often.
Wow.
April. We had people signing up still for the August date, which we were kind of surprised.
Right.
And it increased for a couple weeks after we said we moved to August, and then it just kind of leveled out and just like trickling in a little bit. But and that's a lot of that was because of the COVID cases. Like everybody's seeing that, going, oh, it's actually not dying down. So,
yikes. And let me ask this: how many people canceled between April and the time that the mayor said, "Hey, we're not going to put this on at all"?
Well, what we had were about 18,000 that deferred to next year out of the 30 plus thousand that signed up.
Yeah.
And then we had about 6,000 people do the virtual, which was really good.
Yeah.
And then we had, a couple thousand people just say, you know what, we understand.
Yeah.
We're just donating our $40.
Sure.
We will be back next year.
Right.
Hopefully y'all are okay, and we appreciate that, because without the support of the runners, the bridge run's not going to be anymore, and we don't want that to happen. 40 plus years of this event, we want to keep it going for another 40 plus years.
Sure.
So,
and was there ever a plan to just run the race without any spectators?
well, no, because the biggest issue is the way start. Putting people in corrals.
Right.
That's the biggest issue. Not the spectators.
Okay.
Safety.
Yeah, sure.
So now the April date, and the August 1st date,
Right.
There were people that showed up and just ran.
Wow.
And the April date, we went out there just to see.
Yes.
And the news, Post and Curry was out there,
Right.
and they're like, wow, there's like 3 or 4 people. And another 3 or 4 people come running by, and they were all, some had the Bridge Run shirts on, some didn't, but they were starting their watch at the starting line, and they were running. No, they couldn't do the original course because we go down that one off ramp, but they stayed on the bridge and they ran their 6.2 miles.
6.2 miles. Wow.
That's pretty cool.
It really is.
So.
And another question too, you talk about obviously those spectators. Was it something that the city of Charleston, the city of North Charleston, and the town of Mount Pleasant needed that you all just didn't have as far as resources, and that's why it led to this cancellation?
No, I think it was just safety.
Okay.
The health risk for everyone involved.
Sure.
I mean, think about the volunteers at the water stop.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the police.
Right.
The fire department, the city workers, all these individuals that are out there supporting different sections of the race.
Right.
Their safety, not just the spectators, but their safety too. You have to look at the whole package, and it was the right thing, the right call. Did it hurt? Yes, it hurt. We wanted to put that on. I mean, people say, you get the emails, people saying, oh, I'm so disappointed, I'm so upset that the race didn't happen. Well, just think about the small staff in the office.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No one was more disappointed that it didn't happen than those individuals in the office, because they do that year round, trying to prepare, trying to get ready, and then have not it just canceled once, but twice. It's like gearing up for the April race, and then sorry you can't do it, but maybe you could do it in August. So then you kind of restructure and regroup, and you're gearing up again for the August, and boom. And then we geared up for the virtual race.
Right.
So we actually geared up for 3 or 4 different races.
Wow. Yes. And let me ask you this: why was there not a sooner deadline to why was there a sooner deadline to transfer or defer or even do the virtual run?
Why wasn't there
a deadline for that sooner? Why was the deadline sooner? Why couldn't it get extended? Oops.
I don't
Extended. A lot of people complained about obviously the virtual run and not having a longer deadline. Why was it?
Do the virtual?
Yeah. Why was it a sooner deadline?
People wanted to get their results up and stuff, and we could have dragged it out for months and months and months, and we needed to, just like the race has a certain date, we needed a date for the results for the virtual, and then we could post it, because once we posted the results, then we were sending out the finishers medals and the shirts and stuff like that, and so people were like, hey, where's my medal? Well, we're going to send it out when we get all the results in.
Okay.
And if we extended those results for, hey, can I just do it like next month. I'm like, well, these other people want theirs.
Yeah.
So we sent out 3 different waves of shirts and medals. Here's the first wave, here's the second wave. But we needed to have an ending point at some point, you know, and I think it was pretty successful, the virtual.
Okay.
It was really fun getting emails from people from the Outer Banks or from, you know, some little city in Florida or in Mississippi or in Tennessee running over a bridge.
Yeah.
Here's my bridge. I couldn't run the bridge run, but I ran my bridge.
Right.
And they sent pictures and we're like, wow, this is cool.
Yes. That's amazing. Since March, how much money did the bridge run lose?
That's still to be determined. We were working on like the virtual and trying to bring in money that way, and we got some other ideas. So yeah, it's still to be determined.
How much money were you all expected to make this year?
Well, I mean, once all the bills and stuff are paid, I mean, the bus bill. I mean, we're one of the only large events that actually gives you a free bus.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
And so, I mean, if you saw the bill for the buses, it's a big
Yikes.
a big chunk. So if we make a little bit of money, or if we break even, it's good. So, I mean, ideally, we want to make a little bit of money, and because we do give money to our charities,
yes,
and we do give money to we have a grant program. So all these funds that we collect and stuff, I mean, they go out. And they go out to good causes, the Ronald McDonald House,
right,
etc.
Right.
I mean, those are our charities, and
the old timers.
Yeah, I mean, so they were disappointed that we couldn't have the event because a lot of them, you know, they depend on that little extra. So, I mean, it's not just, you know, I don't get paid a lot of money, Quintin, to do this job, and I mean. If you've known me for a very, very long time.
Yes.
I mean, I taught school.
Yes.
I coached.
Right.
Not very large money-making endeavors that I've done my life, but I mean, it's a passion, running, and if we could do something positive, like give money to these charities, it's all worth it.
Oh yeah,
it's all worth it.
All worth it. Now, how many donations did you all receive after all of these cancellations?
How many
donations?
I mean, about 1,500 people donated their entry fees.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's it.
Yikes.
Yeah. And we're going to be okay.
Okay.
Hopefully, if we could do this event next year, and you know, we're tightening up and squeezing the budget, and you know.
What does the budget look like now? Now I'm getting
it's I mean, right now, I mean, we're just trying to spend as little as possible.
Sure.
Because we need to save for hopefully we are able to do the event, and so we'll see.
We'll see. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I'm positive.
Yes, sir.
I'm positive. I really believe that 2021 is going to be a very good year for everyone.
Yes.
So that's the way. I mean, I just believe it, and that's my focus. And I gotta stay positive.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a great 2021, and everybody's gonna bounce back.
Yes.
And Charleston is gonna be stronger. And the Charleston area, it's not just Charleston, you know, Mount Pleasant, North Charleston, they're part of our team.
Right.
You know, and so I think it's just going to be a really good 2021.
And so when I step out for my, I guess, 15th Cooper River Bridge Run next year, what can I expect? Sanitation stations, water stations?
Oh yeah, sanitation stations. We'll see. You might have to wear a mask at the start.
Wow.
You know, and then you can take it off when you start running, or leave it on.
Right.
And but yeah, and you know, we'll see. We might not be able to have a finish festival. It might be cross the finish line and, you know, go home.
Yeah.
And we'll send you some stuff.
Yeah.
Here's your finisher's medal. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, there might not be an expo. It might be everybody gets their packet mailed to them.
Wow.
We don't know. It's so far
Yeah.
down the road.
Right.
I think come January,
Yeah.
we'll know a lot more.
Okay.
And but I think we're going to have the event.
Yes.
You know, it might not be the same as we've done in the past. Eventually, it will be. It might not be this coming year, but I'm hoping we have the event in some form.
Some form. So it may sound like it might go back to 1978.
Maybe
Just
we
run the
do
race.
that. You know, and there wouldn't be anything wrong with that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I agree
You
completely.
know, that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a retro shirt.
There you go. Pat O'Neill and them will love that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir. Well, Irv Batten, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you, Quintin. Always a pleasure.
Likewise.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.